Hey guys, I'm here with Sticky Propaganda, a clothing brand from here in the Valley. And just right off the bat, could you just kind of introduce yourself a little bit, please?
Yeah, so I'm STKY, shit that kills you is what that stands for. I've been doing clothing design and artwork for as far as I can remember. I've been doing clothing for about 10 years, but art ever since I was a little kid.
Nice, yeah. And so just I want to hear about like what were your early days of designing like? Like, what were some of the struggles that you faced and like how have you improved since then, would you say?
Yeah, so I feel like in the early days, it's a lot of like nobody wants to let you in. Like they don't trust that you are like super good and super talented because if you don't have like a portfolio built, then they can't like see any of your previous designs. They can't see any of your previous work. But if you don't have that work already and that experience, then like how are you going to show that? Like you got to start somewhere, and a lot of places won't let you start without something to back it.
Right.
So it's a lot of like struggle and like do it yourself type of thing, and it takes a lot of like willpower to like push through that, but it helps a lot in the long run because like if you have to do everything yourself, like promotion, making the designs, making the flyers, getting the people to go there, making the tickets, selling the tickets, everything like that, it helps you for when you hire someone to do that. At least if something's going wrong, you can help that person to make it right.
Yeah, right. And so now I just want to hear like are your like least favorite and most favorite era of street fashion, would you say?
All right, so I would say thinking about it, like my most favorite is probably like the 90s denim, like light wash denim, a lot of like rips and jeans, super baggy, everything like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that that's fucking dope, honestly. I think that's sick. And then same with like fucking let's see, like high-waisted pants as well. I think that's really cool. But as far as like my least favorite, I tried to think about this a lot and I wasn't able to come up with one because every time I would think of an era of fashion, I was trying to find like pinpoint like one shitty thing in that, and every time I'd be like, oh yeah, I really hate this thing, like let's say like disco fashion or something like that. But every time I would think about it, I'd be like, okay, but that spawned like a whole nother generation of artists, and people took that and ran with it and changed it into like something new, something better that I liked better. And I just think like without that stepping stone where someone went out on a whim and tried to make like an era of clothing, and maybe I didn't like it, but it brought up a whole lot of different ideas and new ways to try creating art and clothing. I think without those, like, we wouldn't have such awesome clothing now.
Yeah. I think often with art, even outside of clothing, like the thing that makes it kind of like unlikable is usually why people like that piece, So
Exactly.
It's just hard, especially with fashion, you say like eras. Even swag, like there was pretty cool during that era.
Exactly, yeah.
Big ass hats, the big old brims and everything.
Exactly.
Zendaya.
For real, dude.
So, as you know, every artist has a reason to create their art. Sometimes the reason can be that there isn't a reason at all, and like that still is a reason to create. Why do you create the work that you do?
So this is kind of like a long-winded answer, but I know like when I was younger, so I have a disability that I've had my whole life. It's called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. So it's like a 1 in 100,000 chance that you get it. But basically I was born with like clubbed feet, my hands were stuck in, and I had to have like over 25 surgeries at birth and have had over like 60 surgeries in my whole life. So it's always been like a constant thing like that, but I in and out of the hospital as a kid all the time. So I never really was able to like join sports like I did, but there were always times where I'd have to go back to the hospital, get surgeries, stuff like that. So
Right.
Really limited what I could do to being in a hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, the only thing that I could do at that time was draw and like do art.
Yeah.
So I kind of like really got into that, and it really has helped me a lot because I've noticed that like no matter like how you look at your life, it's always like unique to you. And like even if it's not like something everybody's gone through, everybody has like felt the same way as you in their own version of it. You know what I mean? Like maybe I've felt like pain and sorrow in one way, but like you've also felt that same feeling just about something else. So
Right.
if you can put those feelings into your artwork or your clothing, then you can relate to other people without it having to be like this is my exact story. Do you have the same exact story? Like you can look at art and interpret it in your own way and
Yeah.
feel the same way as the artist did, but think about it completely differently. So that's kind of why like I do art, is because I feel like it relates to everybody and everybody can find a way to feel the painting, clothing, whatever it is. They can really like understand it without understanding like why it was created.
Right. That's fantastic because, I mean, I feel like in a lot of, especially nowadays, we see fashion brands, they just kind of pop up. They want to sell as much stuff as they can. It's
Right.
all the fast fashion and all that. But it's really nice to have like a, it's bigger than just the selling of clothes,
Yeah,
It's nice. It's nice to hear. Could you maybe just tell me like a little bit about your previous pieces and like which ones have been your favorite, would you say?
Yeah. So I've done so many pieces. I feel like these pants are actually one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So I made these for my very first fashion show. These were like the first jeans that I ever like created myself. And it really was like I took like a pair of like blue jeans, like regular light wash denim. And then I saw that there was like this really cool creasing in the pants for these ones. They're like some real big baggy jeans.
Yeah.
So I loved that already. But I was like, how can I add to it and make it like my own? And I'm really big into like anime designs and stuff like that. Love the artwork styles. Grew up on all of the fucking old Miyazaki films.
Yeah, I kind of saw your art page. I was looking at that.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of like old style anime, 90s anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that stuff. And so the way that I put it into this one was I found like the top of these pants, it kind of makes like a heart shape. And so I wanted it to be like kind of like a broken heart, but it's like two girls kissing on
Yeah, that's
either
awesome.
side of the pant legs.
The other thing that's cool is that from far away, it kind of looks like just like bones,
Right.
Like your legs. So like
Yeah.
you walk up, you're like, holy shit, it's like more.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It's so
That's awesome.
sick.
What is your fashion hot take? If you had to have one.
I don't know about this one. As far as like a hot take, dude, I don't know, because like I feel like there's not like a lot of hot takes that you can take, and like there's not somebody out there who has the same vision. But I feel like I feel like there's like the bigger and louder clothing. I think that's always the cooler shit. But I really, really don't like high level couture stuff where it's just like you could not see yourself wearing that in any. I personally can't see that in like any occasion of my life. Like, I'm clearly not as wealthy as the people who are wearing it, but like, in what world am I going to be wearing a fucking hat that's 12 feet tall and fucking like some crazy like backwards dress
Yeah.
that like wouldn't be functional in like any part of my daily life, you know?
Right.
So that's like maybe one hot take that I feel like personally I could just never get behind, you know?
Yeah. My hot take is kind of similar to that. I hate all of the new shirts that are just like vulgar like words, like just like
Yeah.
for the sake of being vulgar. It's like, when are you like you want people to see you wearing that? Like, seriously?
Yep.
It's just those types of things. And so what are your hopes of accomplishing, like what in the future, what do you kind of hope to accomplish with your brand?
I feel like with my brand, I kind of just want to go with the flow. I love like creating, and I feel like I'm already at the place where I wanted to be as a kid, which
awesome.
was like I always wanted to, like I always watched like Project Runway and shit as a kid. So I always wanted to do a runway show. I used to always watch like skate videos. I always wanted to like basically make clothing for skaters and like shoot videos like that. I've been doing that a bunch recently. It's super fun. But yeah, I kind of, for the future, just want to continue doing this and just make things that like I personally love, even if it's not something that like everyone wants. And I also just don't want to make stuff that's like I can print 1 million of these and sell all these.
Yeah.
I love making like one of one pieces where it's like, once I sell this, like I'm not going to make it again.
Mm-hmm.
I love that kind of stuff, and that's kind of what I see for my future.
I love it because it's cool for you and it's also cool for the person that has it. You know,
Right,
like I've got like a
exactly.
one of one piece. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I gotta find a good one. This might be a hard question, but like, which designers do you kind of look up to most, and like bigger than fashion? Would you say?
Yeah. So there's this one brand. There's this girl who does like a bunch of really sick art. She does a lot of stuff like how I do. Lots of like anime, a lot of screen printing, and like a lot of like black and whites. So like the clothing will be black with a white print on it only, or like minimal color. And hers is like, her Instagram is like MLMA, me love me a lot. And then the brand that she makes is called Scoot Apparel and Problem Boy. So it's like a lot of like one of one pieces, and she'll like cut up a bunch of stuff, and she'll always show tutorials of like how she made the clothing. And it's a lot of like just random stuff, like household items being used as like clothing stuff. So they like screen printed with bleach and like just push bleach straight through the screen, and it'll bleach the clothing with the design. So I was looking at that and I was like, that's fucking dope.
That's fucking
so sick, right? And then just putting like chains onto a shirt and spray painting the chain, so when you pull it off, it's basically like an exoskeleton of the chain, like sprayed onto the clothing. A lot of stuff like that. I think that's like really dope and unique, and just like nobody likes to show how they make their clothing or like how they do their stuff a lot. And I feel like that's usually because it's really easy, and they don't want people to like take their craft or to just know that they're like ripping you off, charging $500 for something either they didn't do or a fucking machine made, or like, I don't know, just like it's so easy they could do it at home, you know?
Yeah, right.
And this person is like, I'll sell it to you for $200 because it takes a while to do, but I'll show you how to do it if you just want to do it yourself, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I think that's the best way to go about it, because 90% of people are not going to do it because they're either too lazy, scared to do it, or try and fuck up, or like they just have the money to not have to do it. And so giving them the option to do it, though, really puts it into your face of like, damn, this person is really good because they'll show me how to do it and I still won't fucking do it. I'll still pay for it, even though I could easily do this myself. Yeah. And I admire that, because it's like, it's so hard to do. Like, it's hard to find someone who's willing to show you like piece by piece how to build something, and like give you the reins and be like, do it exactly how I did it. Here's the tutorial. Like, most people won't show you any of how they do their work. Yeah. They'll just show you the finished product.
Yeah, having that transparency is really nice to see like what you have in that finished product.
Yeah.
What would you say to like upcoming other fashion designers? Just anything.
I would say, honestly, like, always push to do everything yourself. Like, obviously, you can hire on people to do things that you're not professional at, but always try out new, like, materials, try out new styles, new designs, because it could be something that right now you hate, but you could try it, fuck up, and find, like, an even cooler way to do it, you know?
Yeah, right.
Because that's always how it goes with, like, my art and my clothing. I have, like, an idea of how the product is going to finish and, like, come out. And it never comes out that way. Because I'll find that, like, halfway through the process, I'll either see, like, a cooler thing to add to it, or I'll find, like, a different process as I'm doing it, or I'll rip something and I'll be like, okay, I got to fix it, but how am I going to turn this fuck up into like a plus, you know? So I think like if you do everything yourself, you can really learn why a fuck up is bad, how the fuck up happened, and how to come back from it. And without those three things, if you go out there and like do this in person for somebody and show them the process and you fuck up, you're just going to be standing there with your dick in your hand like you don't know what to do. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, do you really do this shit? Like, if you don't know how to do it yourself, why are you running the brand, you know?
Yeah, right. And, like, something that I've noticed about, like, starting, like, with my Shoelace Media and everything is that, like, you don't know what you don't know until, like, you fucked it up. You know what I mean? And, like, once you're kind of past that point. Like, my earlier interviews, pretty shit. My early like live footage pretty shit. I had to learn how to get back at it, how to get better at it, and like that's why I'm better at it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go through it,
Yeah, you start to realize like as you're working through it, like, oh, it's fucking up because of this, and here's how I can fix it.
Right. And so just finally, like, are there any announcements that you'd like to give for the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. So right now we're in the Streetwear Stitch studio. We've got this open. The owner Brandon, shout out to him.
Shout out Brandon.
Definitely cool. Hit him up because he's running great deals just to have us in here, and you can use all the sewing equipment, all the embroidery equipment for like $200, $250 for like the max rate, and then you just throw up your clothing in here, and anything that sells, you get 100% profit. Like,
yeah, right.
There's no other places that are doing that for us. So I think that's like super great and new, and I love that. And then of course we've got Arizona Fashion Week. The fashion show is coming up November 14th at noon. Definitely pop out to that. That's gonna be a sick show.
Yep.
And I've got a bunch of new pieces that I'm gonna be showing at that show.
Hell yeah.
All new shit. Definitely got more into the cut and sew for this one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome to see.
Oh, yeah.
And before we go, I just want to go over some like quick questions. Like I want to hear the first thing that pops into your head. Black or multicolor?
Black.
All right. The Strokes or the Smiths?
The Strokes.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I would say the same thing. Bins or markets?
Ooh, bins, honestly.
Okay. Xbox or PlayStation? We were kind of talking about this earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I love Xbox because of like that's what I grew up on, but PlayStation because I love the controllers a lot more slim. We were talking about it earlier.
Yep.
I got fucked thumbs, tiny little thumbs, so definitely a lot easier on the PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation's where it's at.
Yeah.
And the last one, I'm gonna mess up the names. Junya Watanabe or Issey Miyake?
Ooh, fuck. Junior Watanabe, I think, honestly. I don't know for sure because like they're pretty like toss up on that one for me.
Junya or Virgil?
Virgil for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Virgil's just kind of like he's king almost.
Yeah, and I feel like he's one of ones where it's like he fucking put out a whole website that shows you how to do everything he ever did.
Yeah.
And whether or not people use it, it's all right there for you to take. Like,
right.
You can just fucking go on that website and it gives you like ways to like cut and sew things, fabric coloring, stuff like all sorts of things that like no one wants to show you because they're scared you'll do it better.
Right. And like the thing about Virgil too is that like I feel like everywhere that you look right now you can see his work.
Right.
Like almost every single like current style is like you can see his like influence. It's awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
It's fantastic.
But yeah, that's cool. That's the end of the interview. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.